I want to present to you, this is either an update for you, or this is going to be hearing this story for the first time, because I told it yesterday on the show, and I know most of you are not listening 24 hours a day. You're 3 hours of this show. It's just impossible, and sometimes you can't listen every single day. So let me give you the recap here. On Monday, after the show, I left work and I headed to Costco, okay? Olivia, my darling, was in Quebec City. She was visiting her family this weekend, so she was driving back in. The fridge was bare. I say, you know what? I'm going to go to Costco on the way back home, pick up some things for the week because the fridge is bare because we were both out of town over the weekend. So go to Costco. I'm starving, right? I've done my show. I don't bring much in to work to eat. I bring some fruit. Like today, all I've brought in are cherries and an apple. And I generally leave work and then I eat lunch. And that's my first big meal of the day. So I get to Costco and I'm starving. And I get to the food. I do the food court first. I don't go shop because I'm starving. So I go to the food court and it was a nightmare. It was a disaster. It was waiting for 20 minutes. It was dirty. They didn't have things like soda lids and all that kind of stuff. So I was looking around and everyone's frustrated and they're calling out numbers. It's taking forever. And in my mind, something came into my mind where the thing I've seen online where the CEO of Costco will respond to people that send him emails. It just popped in my brain. I said, you know what? I should do it. So I found the email for the CEO of Costco. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you're a good hunter, you'll find it. And, I sent him this email. Okay. I'm going to read it to you again here. This is the email I sent. I didn't, no hi, no hello, nothing, nothing cordial about this. And, I apologize at the end, but here we go. This is what I write to the CEO. Your food courts, at least in Quebec where I live, do not have enough staff, do not have enough seating, do not take cleanliness as important as it should, and have skimped on so many things. I am willing to pay more. I don't want to feel less than human waiting 20 minutes to be thrown a hot dog that no longer comes with onions or coleslaw options like in the past. Please charge me $5, charge me $7, but give me a great experience. Soft drink lids? Optional depending on the day. Straws? How silly of me to think they're available. Your food courts are a disaster right now, not enough staff and lower standards. I go to Costco for great products at a great price. Your food courts are failing, a great price for a miserable experience. Long-standing issue here. I'm standing in one of them right now with a bunch of people that probably feel the same way. Sorry for the bluntness. I'm standing and waiting. I don't sign this thank you. I don't put my name. I just click send. Ladies and gentlemen, an hour later, an hour and 1 minute to be precise, I got a response from the CEO of Costco himself. It's a man named Ron Vacris. He started driving the forklift at Costco. He's a Costco lifer. And he went up the ranks. And he responded to my email an hour later. He goes, Mr. Makos, my apologies for these experiences. We do not need to charge more for the items. We just need to execute as we should. We will get this corrected, okay? Yesterday, text line blew up. So many people sent me messages saying, Elias, you're absolutely right. My goodness, you're totally correct in what you said. And by the way, I took screen caps of all of those messages that you sent me, and I'm going to pass them along to the executives at Costco. So from there, right, the big CEO sends me a response. He CC'd 3 executives at the company, and I get an email and a phone call from one executive yesterday that I couldn't answer because I was doing my show and I was just so busy. 4:00, I respond to the guy's email. Right, this guy, a guy out of Ottawa, Larry something or other. I won't mention his last name. So Larry sends me an email. Hey, Mr. Makos, can we talk today? Are you free? So 4:00, I write back to him, and I say, Larry, this is a really bad day because I was meeting my buddy, and I want to make sure I spend time with the family, and I had softball, a whole bunch of stuff. So I said, today's a bad day. Tomorrow, anytime, 1:00 or later, I'll be free for you. And I sent the email, and then like 3 minutes later. Okay, my phone rings and it's private number. So I'm like, I wonder what, I just had a feeling that it was someone from Costco. So I answered the phone call and they're like, is this Mr. Makos? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, it's Mike so-and-so. I'm from Costco. I'm in charge. And this is like Mr. Food Court for Canada. And he's like, can we talk about your email? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Because he had caught me at the right time. The other guy caught me at all the wrong times. This guy caught me at the right time. So I'm on the phone with this guy for half an hour. Okay. Luckily, Olivia and Wolfgang, they left the house. They went to the park. So I had the time at that moment. So I spent half an hour talking to this executive at Costco. And, I didn't read him the riot act. I was just very honest, and he's like, Mr. Makos, we don't need to raise the prices. That's not the issue here. And I said, clearly it is. I mean, this is a long-standing issue. It's not like this is once. And I told him, ever since the pandemic, this is now 5 years, it's been a miserable experience. And that they use the pandemic to change a lot of things, like, oh, it's the pandemic, we can't give you onions. Oh, it's the pandemic, we can't give you coleslaw, because that's a communal thing. So they made all these changes then. I told him about that. And he's like, well, no, that's not it. And we don't need to raise prices. I said, well, then why is it a terrible experience? And he admitted that it was a terrible experience across much of the country. And this is what I said. I said, you got to hire more bodies. The reason it's a miserable experience is that you have like 3 people working there and you have 1,000 people. I said, you need to triple the number of people minimum. And by the way, I'm seeing all your text messages of people agreeing with what I wrote to the CEO of Costco. So all this to say that the guy, Mike, okay, boy, did he ever take it seriously. Okay. And he's in the big city. He's in Toronto and he's a Blue Jays fan. We talked about that as well. And so the bigwig Mike, he's like, Mr. Makos, we're going to get this right. We are going to get this right. And I was like, I said, Mike, I'm going to be honest. I don't believe you because this isn't the first time. And I said, in the past, I'd actually wrote in that suggestion box that Costco has. One of the worst times, I said, let me take a few minutes here. Nothing's ever changed. And I said, it's bodies. Like, it's not going to change if you hire more people. I don't think you want to hire the people. It's like, well, Mr. Makos, we don't need to raise the prices. It's going to change. I'm going to follow up with you, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to start to take some credit here if it actually changes. Okay. So if the Costco food court goes from being the worst experience to an okay experience, and it should be an amazing experience, but it never is. If that actually happens, I'm going to take some credit, but the wheels are in motion. And I want to know, I got another message here from a listener saying Laval, because I was at the Bridge Street location. And I got another message here from a listener who says Laval, it's a disaster. And I will tell you this, I screen capped, I never do this, but I screen capped the text messages we got yesterday. And the guy that I'm supposed to speak to today, I'm sending them to him. Okay, so he's going to get those messages. So if you have anything you want to add, you can send me a text message. I'll screen cap it, and I'll make sure the good folks at Costco, about the food court, by the way, because, there's only one thing I can deal with at any given moment. And I hope that things change there.